everybody, happy Friday. I hope you are all well and looking forward to a weekend with plenty of rest after a fantastic week of learning. It's Miss Hendy here, if you haven't guessed already. We're going to do our final reading skills lesson of the week, so I'd like you to press pause, please, and write today's short day and vipers, putting a circle around the R for retrieve. Off you go. Okay, and once you've done that, we are going to do a quick recap of the vipers. I'm just going to make that a little bit smaller so I can see them all. We have V for vocabulary, I for infer, P for predict, E for explain, R for retrieve, and S for summarize. And today's focus retrieve. So remember, retrieve is where we're going to find the answer in the text. Retrieve means to kind of to take out of something. So we're going to take the answer from the text. And our current text is How to Invent by Lynn Huggins Cooper. And we've learnt about lots of inventions already, and I'm quite excited about the ones we're going to be introduced to today. So first of all, before we start that, I'd like you to press pause and have a little think. What is a timeline? So a timeline is a series of events that have happened over time put into chronological order, and by chronological order we mean date order. So for example, we looked at the Stone Age right through to the Romans, the Stone Age, Bronze Age, Iron Age and the Romans, and we put events on a timeline based on when they happened. So that's our little recap. Okay, we're going to start with the MP3 music player. Now I know the text on the screen is not completely clear. I did the best I could. So if you can't see it, I have attached the document and the reading papers as a file on Teams. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit and we're going to read through about the MP3 player. Okay, so MP3 music player. An MP3 media player is a digital audio player, audio means sound, that stores and plays MP3 files and other media. MP3 files take up less storage memory than previous files, so you can fit more onto a music player. MP3 players such as iPods can store thousands of tunes on one tiny machine. Okay, we've got Karl-Heinz Brandenburg here. I think I said his name, so it's him here. Let's find out a little bit about him and his role with the MP3 music player. Karl-Heinz Brandenburg is a German scientist and mathematician who began developing the files that would become MP3s in 1977. He had already developed two earlier versions, the MP1 and the MP2. In 1996, he created the greatly improved MP3 and patented the idea. So Brandenburg also developed an MP3 player, but it was not very reliable. In 1997, Tomislav Uselak of Advanced Media Products created the AMP MP3 playback engine, one of the first reliable MP3 players. Have a little look here. We've got the Apple's iPod. It's the world's most popular MP3 player. Portable MP3 players began to appear in 1999, but they were quite heavy and bulky. Apple introduced iPod MP3 players in 2001, 8 months after they released the software iTunes. People use iTunes to buy MP3 versions of music and load the files directly onto their iPod. Okay. Let's have a little look at the timeline and find out about this guy here. So we've got US inventor Thomas Edison's phonograph recorded sounds on a metal cylinder. So in 1877, Thomas Edison invents a phonograph to create sound recordings. Could be phonograph or phonograph. I'm not entirely sure there. In 1889, Emil Berliner starts selling flat discs and players called gramophones. In 1982, compact discs, which are called CDs, are launched. In 1966, MP3s are patented. 2001, Apple iPod introduced. 2003, iTunes Music Store launched. And then 2012, 350 millionth iPod is sold. And now we are 9 years later. So can you imagine how many of those have been sold now? The next invention, Miss Hendy's favorite, chocolate. Okay, so we have the chocolate bar. Chocolate is made from roasted cocoa beans. In the Aztec and Mayan cultures in North and Central America, a chocolate drink was used in religious ceremonies. And when you get to year 5, year 3, you get to learn all about the Mayans. It's such a fantastic topic. In Europe, chocolate was sweetened by adding sugar and milk. It was first made into bars in the 19th century. And then here we've got this image. The Mayans drank chocolate with added corn or chili. Is that how you drink your chocolate? Okay, let's follow our flowchart. Founded in 1761, Joseph Fry and Sons started out making chocolate tablets for drinking chocolate. In 1847, the company created the first chocolate bar. Big thank you to them. And we're going to follow the timeline. As you can see, there's an illustration here of Fry's chocolate bars are made in factories. Keen to try new things, Joseph Fry's grandson discovered how to mix cocoa powder, extracted cocoa butter and sugar to create solid chocolate that was smoother than the chocolate tablets. The result could be molded into bars and eaten. And here you can see it says Fry poured chocolate over fruit flavour creamy centres. And Fry's chocolate creams are one of my mum's favourites, so they are still around today. Let's follow it up. The firm first produced Fry's chocolate cream bar in 1866, and it is still in production today. They went on to make over 220 products in the next decade, including the first chocolate Easter egg in 1873. Ooh. Miss Hendy's very excited about this page. I love Easter eggs, I love chocolate, I love chocolate drinks. It's all very exciting. Okay, enough about Miss Hendy. Let's read the timeline. So in 1502, chocolate is brought to Europe from the Americas by Christopher Columbus. Here we have Christopher Columbus. And in 1650, chocolate becomes a popular drink in Europe. In 1847, Joseph Fry and Son create the first chocolate bar. In 1875, Swiss chocolatier Daniel Peter creates the first milk chocolate bar. 1919, the chocolate companies Cadbury and Fry and Sons merge, which means they come together to work together. And then in 2009, Cadbury's dairy milk becomes fair trade, raising the living standards of cocoa farmers in Ghana. And by fair trade, it means that the farmers who are producing the cocoa beans are getting paid better than what they were previously being paid and being looked after. Let's go next. Okay, our next invention is the telephone. And where would everybody be without their telephones? Okay, so the telephone. The electric telegraph was invented in the 1840s and the age of the telephone began. Alexander Graham Bell worked on the idea of sending voice messages along telegraph wires. His telephone was patented in 1876 and history was made. Here's Alexander Graham Bell. There we go. It's just so clever, don't you think, that these people have ideas beyond things that hadn't even existed at that time and they wanted to produce it. I think it's so incredibly clever. So here we have the next bit. The history of mobile phones began during the 1940s when handheld devices were used by the army to communicate during World War II. It developed further with the use of two-way radios in police cars, taxis and trains. These early phones were very big and bulky and used lots of power. So here you can see in this image that in 1946, Bell Labs created a system that allowed users to make calls from their cars. And this is like in relationship to the two-way radios in the police cars and taxis and etc. So up we go. In 1973, Martin Cooper, a manager of Motorola, made the first ever mobile phone call. He rang Joel Engel, the head of research at Bell Labs. This first mobile phone weighed 1.1 kilograms and was a huge 13 centimeters long and 4.45 centimeters wide. It allowed just 30 minutes, that's half an hour of talk, and it took 10 hours to charge. Mobile phones have come a long way since the early 1970s and now tiny and reliable. I'm just going to press pause there because I remember when I got my first phone, and it was much smaller than the phone I have today. And I think because phones are now able to do so much more, they're actually getting bigger again. So the screens are wider, you're getting a better view and things like that. So actually, they started to get really small, and now they're almost creeping up and starting to get a little bit bigger again. Modern smartphones can connect users to the internet like a tiny computer. The latest technology also allows people to enjoy streamed radio and TV programs on their phones. Are we ready for the telephone timeline? So in the 1840s, electric telegraph invented. In 1876, telephone patented. In the 1940s, handheld communication devices used during World War II. Not quite like the phone that we'd carry around today. In 1946, car phones come onto the market. 1973, first mobile phone call was made. In 1991, the year Miss Hendy was born, invention of technology that leads to the introduction of Wi-Fi. 2001, 3G technology introduced. Okay, so that's thinking about internet on your phones. 2004, mass market voice over internet protocol services allow people to use the internet to make voice and video calls. And then 2007, Apple releases the iPhone. In 2009, the 4G technology is launched. And now more recently, we are starting to get 5G as well, so it's still developing. I've really enjoyed learning about these different inventions. I hope you have as well. Okay, I'm going to just zoom out a little bit. We are now I'm going to read through the questions. I'll take you back to the page. But if you find it difficult to read, then press pause and you can always load the text up from the files on Teams. So question number 1. Why are MP3 music players better than any other music player? And it's about we know it's about the MP3 music players. So we're going to go back there. Okay, press pause, have a little read through paragraph 1 and think, why are the MP3 players better than previous music players? Question number 2. What was wrong with the first portable MP3 player in 1999? Now I'm going to give you a little bit of a clue now, and a way that you can a way to help you answer questions is by scanning the text. Now we know that the key date here is 1999, so we're going to scan the text to look for that key date to help us find that information. Okay, so it's on page 39 on this side. What was wrong with the first portable MP3 player made in 1999? Have a little read through, see if you can find the answer. Okay, on to the chocolate bar. On question number 3, on page 54 to 55, how was chocolate used by the Aztecs and Mayans? Okay, and again, you can use the Aztecs and Mayans to help you find where this information is going to be. Okay, here we go. So on this page, we have got that information. So how did the Aztecs and Mayans use chocolate? And question number 4, who made the first ever chocolate bar? Who made the first ever chocolate bar? And I'm going to give you a little bit of a clue. Remember we had our timeline of events? That might help you. So who invented the first ever chocolate bar? Can you find the information? Okay, and question number 5, and moving on to the telephone. When was the first handheld phone used? When was the first handheld phone used? When was the first handheld phone used? Have a little look on this page here for your answer. And finally, the last question, when was the first Apple iPhone released? When was the first Apple iPhone released? Okay, so this information is going to be on this page. When was the first Apple iPhone released? And if it's an event, a time, where might I find it? If I'm looking for a date. Okay, and once you are done, get your purple pen. Are we ready to mark our answers? So question number 1, why are MP3 music players better than any other music player? Because you can fit more music on there, or I'll accept anything they've got a bigger memory or a bigger storage, anything along those lines that they can fit more music on them. You can even say about them storing thousands of tunes. Question number 2, what was wrong with the first portable MP3 player in 1999? Oh, they were quite heavy and bulky. Question number 3, how was chocolate used by the Aztecs and Mayans? It was used as a chocolate drink used in religious ceremonies. Question number 4, who made the first ever chocolate bar? It was Joseph Fry and Sons. Question number 5, when was the first handheld phone used? It was in the 1940s, or I'll accept during the war or World War II. And then question number 6, when was the first Apple iPhone released? And it was in 2007. So well done. Tick it off, or just purple pen correct if you need to. Well done. And finally, we have our plenary. What did you like and dislike about this workbook? And can you use because in your responses? And that's it for today. I hope you are all well. We're missing you lots at school. Can't wait to have you all back again when it's all safe. You all take care. Have a wonderful weekend. And I shall be speaking to you all on Monday. Bye.